Welcome back, everybody. I'm Michael Foley, and in this video, I'm going to teach you how to do a spin hook kick. I'm an advocate for the idea that fundamentals win fights. I'd consider a spin hook kick an intermediate skill to learn, but it's very advanced to be able to land this on a resisting opponent, which makes it all that more impressive when fighters like Andy Hoog, Edson Barbosa, Nicky Holskin, Raymond Daniels have all landed this at the highest level of competition. In this video, I'm going to show you how to develop this skill from the ground up, starting with a couple of foundation movements. The first thing you're going to need for this is to develop your flexibility. I always recommend doing dynamic leg movements to warm up before you start practicing hook kicks, and then eventually being able to kick to the head. The first one, it's a dynamic leg swing, and it looks like this. I'm going to put two hands on the wall. I'm going to stand the ball on my base foot. I have my swinging leg across the front of my base leg. Then I'm going to swing it to the outside. It looks like this. I'd recommend doing 2 sets of 10 of those leg swings. Each leg, you should feel a pull on the inside of your thigh right here, which is going to help you develop that flexibility on the inside of your leg. The next skill, it's a leg chamber drill, and we've looked at this before in my previous video on how to develop a winning side kick. We're going to modify that drill for how to do a hook kick. Here's how you do it. I'm going to turn my base foot on a 45-degree angle towards the wall, or even completely towards the wall. Wherever's comfortable is fine. My left hand goes on the wall. I'm going to pick my right knee up as high as I can, and I want to point my heel out at the target here. So the side kick, I'd extend from here and retract it all the way back. But with the hook kick, if my target's right here in front of me, I want to throw my side kick about 15 to 30 degrees over here to my left. I pull with my hip all the way through, and then I pull my heel into my body and retract from here. So the whole thing looks like this. Okay, now let's look at the mechanics of the spin. I'm going to assume you're going to do this from a neutral stance where you're comfortable punching and kicking. That's going to cause me to have to rotate further than I would if I was in a more bladed side-on stance here from like karate or taekwondo. There's a couple of different ways we can look at this. We can either over-rotate, or we can do a cheat step. So if I'm throwing like a punch combination here, I'd step across with this foot. When I step across with that foot, I want to concentrate on whipping my head around as quick as I can, and I'm going to do that with 2 parts of my body. I'm going to turn my head as quick as I can, but I'm also going to pull this shoulder back. And when I pull that shoulder back, I'm rotating my front shoulder forward. So I'm going to whip around as quick as I can after I make the step. So I step, I whip my head and shoulders, and I keep rotating until I can see my target again. Now at the end of that rotation, so I step, whip my head and shoulders, I'm in this position here. A big mistake I see people make is they try to bring up their entire leg a little too early. What I want to see instead is you're going to bring your leg up as late as you possibly can. So you make the step, rotate your head and shoulders, and I keep rotating until my shoulders are basically perpendicular with my opponent. Then I scoop my kick up. And instead of coming out wide and kicking horizontally, I'm going to bring it up on a sharp angle. And then as I rotate, my kick will carry a horizontal plane. Here's how I can practice doing the full spin, the complete wheel, just until I get comfortable with it. So it looks like this. And I want to practice bringing my leg all the way through, back down to the same stance that I took off from. Once I've got the spin down, I'm going to start to add in the mechanic that we just demonstrated on the wall. So I'm going to pick my knee up, extend my kick about 15 or 30 degrees ahead of the target, swing my hip all the way through, retract my heel, and then put my foot back down in the same spot I took off from. Okay, here's how you can hide a spinning hook kick in a combination. So if I'm sparring with my partner here, I'm cracking out punches. Maybe I'm throwing rear leg kicks, but off of one of those punches where I would possibly throw a hook, I'm going to fake that hook. And as that hook is going in front of my partner's guard, I take my cheat step. I look over my back shoulder, then I deliver my spin hook kick. So at speed, it looks like this. Now there are 2 leg positions to finish this kick with. I can do a traditional hook where I'm swinging my leg back through and I bring my heel back into my hip. Or I can straight leg it right from the get-go and swing that through more like a baseball bat. That straight leg version is a little slower, but for kickboxing purposes, it has a lot more impact power. So the full hinging hook kick version looks like this. And the stiff leg version looks like this. The stiff leg version has a lot more power. You're hitting with your heel every single time with a straight leg. So that's the one I don't recommend you use when you spar at the club. The one I recommend you use is the bending leg version, where you hit with the ball of your foot as opposed to your heel. It's kinder to your partner. They still know that they got hit. You still know that your kick is landing. If you want to practice your straight leg power version, do it on the long pads, do it on the heavy bag, and of course you can do it when you compete. This is a high risk, high reward technique. I used it a lot back in my point fighting days growing up, but not so much when I was fighting full contact. It's a flashy kick, it's fun to do, and even if you're not going to use it in your regular sparring or regular competing, you should understand the mechanics of it so you can recognize when your opponent's trying to set you up for it. And if you've ever landed a spin hook kick in competition, let me know in the comments below. If you haven't already, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for future videos. I'm Michael Foley. I'll see you on the mats.